Well, good evening and welcome to another episode of Live in the Hive. I'm Michelle Eagleton, and yes, you're watching the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. And of course, we're streaming on the Isle of Manchester platform, that iconic brand dedicated to city, culture, and community. And what a wonderful city we have got here in Manchester. Now, have we had a good week, guys? Yes? Well, hopefully tonight I'm going to try and make it better for you, especially if you're theatre fans, musical fans, or just want a little bit of entertainment. So stay with me for the next half an hour. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got these two wonderful people tonight. We've got Niki Evans, a star of Blood Brothers, that hit musical currently on tour and coming to the Palace Theatre in Manchester very, very soon. And we've got the Artistic Director of the Oldham Coliseum, Chris Lawson. He'll be joining us a little bit later on to talk about what is coming up in their spring-summer season. And if that's not enough, we've got Greater Manchester Theatre News. We've got two big announcements this week to reveal a little bit later on. And then to round the show off, we are going to be treated by a fantastic musical performance from the cast of Bedknobs and Broomsticks. You are not going to want to miss it. So stay with me. Please do comment along the way as well. I'd love your comments. Tell me what kind of shows you like, what you're thinking about our guests, and just if you're having a really good time this Sunday night. So join in. Do not be afraid to come and share your thoughts and feelings. I love a good natter. And let's get on with the show, as they say, because I got the chance to catch up with an absolutely gorgeous lady this week. Now, you might remember her from the X Factor. She was a semi-finalist back in 2004. Yes, 2004. Where does the time go, people? But I managed to grab her in her car because she is that much of a busy lady. Who am I talking about? Well, of course, it is Niki Evans. She's playing Mrs. Johnstone in Blood Brothers, and here she is to tell me a little bit more about what we can expect.
Because it's so well written. Willie Russell is incredible. It's so well written, and if you trust the piece, you just naturally go through those things. So, and people go, "Oh, Blood Brothers, it's absolutely awful," and I cried, and I was this, that, and the other, and there's only actually two bits in it really that really pull on your heartstrings, and they're massive things. But throughout the rest of it, it's quite light-hearted. It's about two boys growing up. It's really, really funny, and it was so lovely to come back because Sean's back. Sean Jones is back, and he was one of my babies 10 years ago. It's lovely, and I know 90% of the cast. So it's literally all of us just coming back and being great friends, and we're having a ball, but we're just 10 years older.
I know, and take you back that 10 years before, you never knew about Blood Brothers at all, and I don't think musicals was really your thing, was it, Niki?
No, I was a rocker.
So what changed from like rocking out to then going on stage and learning a whole new craft?
It was terrifying. It was the thing is, when they kept calling me and saying, "Do you want to do Blood Brothers?" Obviously, I was like, "Oh yeah." I was thinking like Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, all these people, and on the X Factor, they didn't portray me as me. So when I turned up in Bill Kenwright's office, and he was like, "You are just not what I was expecting at all." And then when he said, "What's your favourite musical?" I said, "I've never seen one ever," and he was like, "What?" So I think I chatted to Bill, and I just said I come from a real working class background. My dad was in a factory, my mum was in a cake shop. If we had a pound, it was for a loaf of bread. We couldn't afford to go to the theatre. I'd never been to a theatre. I'd never seen a panto, nothing. So when I went that first time, they were all like jaw dropped because I hadn't got a clue what they were on about. But I kept saying Blood Brothers to me, and I was going, "I haven't got a clue what you mean." But I sang for Bill, and he was like, "Right, okay, can you put?" Because my voice is huge. I mean, he now tells me to sing them like lullabies because he said, I think he forgot how big my voice was because he went, "There's power, then there's real power, and then there's you. So can we now bring it back?" So he's tipped me completely on topsy turvy on my head. took out all my power. He said, you can have one Shirley Bassey moment, but I have two. He said, you can have one Shirley Bassey moment, the rest of it's going to be like lullabies. And I'm like, okay. It's really weird.
And you went down a storm. I mean, to be able to go to the Phoenix Theatre, a big theatre in the West End, do such an iconic role like that. And it was 2008 to 2009. Then you did 2010, didn't you? I mean, you must have took to it like a duck to water.
I just kind of said to the cast, can you help me? I've never done anything like this before. And I actually said, if I'm rubbish, then please tell me and I won't continue, because I've seen people that have come off shows and I've gone to watch them and I've gone, oh, no. And I didn't want to be one of those people. So I really took myself away, learned a lot in a very, very short space of time. Because there's like, you know, when they said, you know, look, you're on the rake, I was looking down for a rake, you know, and I didn't realise that was the stage. So I had to learn all the jargon that went with it as well. And basically, I didn't want to let Bill down because he gave me such an opportunity. He believed in me so much. He gave me the part before I'd even left Venice Walk. And then I went to see it the night after, and then I went, no, I can't do that. And they were going, yes, you can. And I was like, no, I can't do that. No. So he kind of saw something else in me that I didn't see. And to come back 10 years later and get the reviews, you know, it makes me cry. When I read stuff, what people are saying, it makes me cry. There was a lady on stage door at Windsor, and she came back 4 times to see me do it. And she just said to me, I cannot believe. She said, you know, and I said, please don't, I'm not supposed to be crying yet. I'm really humbled, and I'm really, really, really thankful that even people from 10 years have come back to see me do it this time, and they just said, you're better this time. Because I've gone off and I've learned more about theatre, I've learned more of how to act better, to deal with things better. And, you know, I love Mrs. J. There's not a part that I've played that I've taken so much into my heart.
What would you do after this, Niki?
I don't know. I'm kind of like, wow, I'm really kind of excited. I take each role as, because I went from Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I had 2 days off, went into Panto, so then I was a mermaid. So I didn't know whether I was a mermaid or Mrs. Johnstone when I turned up after 1 day. So it was quite funny, singing in the stratosphere in a shell to singing bottom G's. Is like, I was like, come on, Larynx, come down.
I've got one for you, because I recently saw Bat Out of Hell, the musical. And I think you could go back to the rocker days and do that role, because I think that would be great. Falcon's Wife.
Yeah, it's because I'm, you know, knocking on that 50 now. So people don't tend to look at what you can still do. They tend to look at your age and if you can fit in a crowd of 20-year-olds. So, you know, my windows are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, even though I can still sing with the best of them and still knock it out 10 shows a week. Because I actually warm up to Heart when I'm doing this show. So I warm up to Heart, Pat Benatar, Robin Beck. So Robbie Scotcher, who's next door, bless him. He just said it's the best rock concert I've ever been to. He said, you just don't shut up. So then the people in Windsor was giving me a set list for me to warm up to so they could listen out.
That is brilliant. I feel like what we need to do is have like a little performance before you go on stage at the Palace Theatre, so everyone's invited to know. This is like the dressing room performance with Niki, and then forget that, she's on the stage now as Mrs. Johnson, bish bash bosh.
Yeah, it just if I can hit all those notes, and if, you know, get all that power out, then I can start singing lullabies. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, God, it seems a long way now from the X Factor days. I mean, that just seems kind of like a distant memory. Is it surreal thinking, you know, series 4? It was series 4, wasn't it, Niki, that you're in?
Yeah. It feels like I didn't do it. It feels like a different person. And it was a really weird time in my life because, you know, people know me for the dinner lady with the dad, but my dad had actually just died. So that kind of year or so, I don't really remember. I don't really remember much about it. I know I was on it. you know, and people tell me things and I haven't got no memory of it. So, and people that are coming through theatre now don't know me for that. They know me for being in theatre. So,
Do you know what I think they need to do? I think
yeah.
they need to do a film of Blood Brothers,
Oh, yeah, that would be
because
great.
they're doing, you know, so many musicals now, aren't they? And then they're bringing them to movies. Blood Brothers hasn't been done. It turns 40 next year. I'm going to put it out there now, Nikki. All right, okay.
Let's
Bill
do it.
Kenwright needs to sort it with Willie, and we need to get you, Mrs. Johnson, on that silver screen doing Blood Brothers the musical, because I reckon it would totally sell out of the box office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely would. I mean, because, you know, people come to still see it now because it's still happening in everybody's life. What we go through, what the boys go through, what Mrs. Lyons is going through. You know, Paula plays a great Mrs. Lyons. It happens in everyday life, and I think that's why people still love and keep coming back to Blood Brothers time and time again, because, you know, it's what everybody goes through: hardship, money worries, feeding, you know, not having the best clothes. And on the other side of the tracks, there's people that have money, and it's the struggles between that. Two women, you know, depression. And, you know, it sounds awful, but it's so funny. You know, I even giggle at the boys at some of the things that they get up to on stage. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, Danny Taylor, who plays Sammy, I would love to play Sammy because he just gets away with everything. He's just the funniest. It's just, I mean, having grown men play children, but have them, you can't see them as anything but children. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And my other half, Dwayne, I'm getting married next year, this year. Keep saying next year, this year, by
Oh,
the way.
congratulations.
Yeah, so he hasn't seen it yet. He hasn't seen me play it yet. So
When's he going to see it, Nikki?
I think he's coming to Derby. I'm going to try and get him, because my boys are 10 years older than I am. When I told them I was going back into Blood Brothers, my older one got really emotional. They've never seen me do the end. They have to get up and walk out. I get up and walk out. Morgan and Jonah have never they must have come to see me do it at least 20 to 30 times when I did it the first time round. But every time they got up and walked out, because they can't see me break my heart.
Oh, it does, though. It really, really does. And it'd be interesting to see how Dwayne reacts to it as well. God help you if he walks out. Now, Dwayne, if you're watching, remember, stay in your seat. You might be in buckets of tears, but make sure you stay in that seat for Nikki. And wasn't she wonderful? Oh, the fantastic Niki Evans there talking to me from her car. She is that busy, but I'm so glad we got the chance to catch up with her. She's absolutely going to smash it when she comes to the Palace Theatre, Manchester. And if you haven't seen Blood Brothers before, my goodness, you definitely need to get yourself a ticket. One of the best musicals I've ever seen. So I will see you guys there. Now, talking about some great things, we've got more things on the horizon coming up in our wonderful city, and it's time for this Greater Manchester Theatre News. Every week we try and give you the latest in the news and announcements, and this week is definitely no different. We've got two gems for you. We have got the announcement about Anything Goes coming to Manchester. It's going on tour, the award-winning musical. It's had so many Tonys over the years, and look at this cast. Can you believe it? We've got Kerry Ellis, we've got Dennis Lawson, we've got Simon Callow, and the legendary Bonnie Langford. Now, this is coming to the Palace Theatre in June. It's running from June the 9th to June the 18th. You've got a 50-strong cast. They've got dancing sailors. I mean, could we ask for anything more? A full-size live orchestra. And, of course, you have got the music of Cole Porter, an absolute classic, this one. So do get in there and get your tickets for that. I think that is definitely unmissable. Something else which is a top tip from me this week is the colour purple. This has been announced that it is coming to the Lowry in Salford. Now, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for this one because it's not coming until October, from the 11th to the 15th, so a short run there. definitely worth trying to get a ticket for this one too, because it's the first time it's been on tour outside of London and Leicester, where it first started and premiered. It's won awards. It is a musical this time, because if you've heard of The Colour Purple, you will know that it's based on the Pulitzer Prize winning novel. And if you saw the film starred Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg. Again, won so many awards because the story behind this is just so powerful. It follows the heroine, Celie. She has been abused, she's been oppressed through her youth. But what we see is her go through that and really meet some incredible women in her life, and then discover joy, hope, love, and strength. Now, alongside this, you've got some absolutely phenomenal music. You've got a lot of jazz, a lot of blues in there. It really is going to be great when this comes to the stage. So that is coming to the Lowry in October. Oh, so exciting, isn't it? But if you want more theatre news during the week, you know where to go. Of course, you can go on to the wonderful I Love Manchester website. It's got more than theatre news. It's got news about what is on in our wonderful city, full stop. Now, next up, we are going to find out what is in the wonderful theatre world of the Oldham Coliseum, because yes, the theatres have been announcing their spring-summer season. So we've been able to kind of put down what we want on our wish list to go and see at the theatre. So I thought I'd catch up with the Artistic Director Chris Lawson of the Oldham Coliseum and see if I could get the lowdown for you on what to watch at the theatre there. This is a spring-summer season, and you've got a world premiere.
Yeah.
You've got 2 touring productions which are based on real-life stories. You've got something that's come from across the pond, and you've got a children's classic in there as well, which I think
there's no room for anything else, is there? But there's still more than that. It's amazing.
I know there is. So kind of, I suppose, to kick us off, that children's classic for me is great, because this is the first time, I think, in outside of, would I be right in saying about 20 years that you've done like this kind of thing that's not been at a festive time? And I'm talking of the Jungle Book.
Yes, yeah, the Jungle Book, yeah, totally. So many families come through the door at Christmas, and we really just want to make the most of that. And it's so many people's first experience of theatre, and Jungle Book's kind of carrying on from that. But the beautiful thing is, as with Panto, you don't have kids. It's not a kid. It is kind of for everyone. It's for all ages. And the Jungle Book's a pretty special one for us at the Coliseum, because, of course, it was in rehearsal when the theatre had to close its doors at the start of the pandemic. So it's probably the show that's been on sale for the longest at the Coliseum. It's actually been on sale for 2.5 years. And I remember that moment walking into the theatre in I think it was the second week of rehearsal, and kind of explaining to the cast what the result of everything was on the news. So for it to come back, and the vast majority of the actors are back, all the creative team are back, and they just can't wait. They've had years to think about this show. And it's got a lovely kind of modern take on it as well. It's almost like an urban jungle, but we've got the actors swinging across the stage. We've got kind of somersaults, all sorts of kind of physical fun. And it's a really special one. It's a really nice one to kick off the season for us.
Absolutely. Now that's coming in April, and they will be chomping at the bit, the actors and the creatives, like you say, to get out there. But I do like the fact you've kind of got that modern twist on what really is, an old favourite and a firm favourite with families as well. So that's going to be great. Really good to look forward to. And one of my favourite actors has penned a play. I'm talking of Maxine Peake, obviously.
Yes.
Oh, stunning Mancunian actress. And it's Beryl. Now, Beryl hasn't been to the Coliseum yet, and this is a true story about an amazing woman, isn't it, Chris?
It's something else. Beryl Burton, Yorkshire woman, mother, wife, and cycling hero. Everything that she achieved as a cyclist, just against the odds, really, kind of physical health and all the challenges she overcame. And Maxine wrote it originally as a radio play and played the part of Beryl herself, and then put it on stage over in Leeds the first time round. Also, as a play, it's pure theatre. You've got 4 actors on stage, and they're playing over 20 roles between them. You've got 4 bikes on stage, so they're cycling throughout. So the physical challenge for them. You've got 200 props. It's the busiest stage ever. The Jane, our company stage manager, still not talking to me. Why would you do this to me after Panto? Why would you do this? But it's just a story that needs telling. And as you say, Maxine Peake she's a fantastic actor and writer, which is really great.
Absolutely. And it just feels right to be on such a northern stage as well, don't you think? I think the audiences at the Coliseum, they're going to absolutely love this one.
It's a proper Coliseum play. It's a proper northern story, and I love that. And we get to take it to the Dukes in Lancaster as well, and take it over to Theatre by the Lake in Keswick. So it's really nice that we can share it with a wider audience and kind of give it the journey in life that it deserves.
Yeah, it'll be getting on its bike and going all over the place, won't it?
Well, yeah, the actors. Maybe we get the actors cycling between venues. I'll say the actors because I'll be in the car for sure.
Yeah, but, me too. But that's coming in May, so we've got that boxed off for in May. And in June, you've got yourself a world premiere. Now, the writer and person behind this, it's like a co-production between an actor and a writer, and it's Mr. Kershaw, Ian Kershaw. Now, yes. I love his work, the Bruntwood Award-winning, playwright, and he is connected with an actor, and it's a very serious story, but I love the name of it. Tell us the name of this production and how special this is going to be.
It's called We Should Definitely Have More Dancing, and as you kind of say, so it's Ian Kershaw, and in July had a show on at the Coliseum called The Greatest Play in the History of the World, and he wrote that for his wife Julia Hesmond-Holsch, and he was at the Coliseum 3 or 4 times previously. He did Bread and Roses a few years ago, that was great. And so he was on Twitter, he was on social media, and an actor called Clara Darcy was kind of tweeting about some things that she'd gone through in her life that were quite personal, but she wanted to kind of share it, and they connected and kind of knew of each other anyway. And Clara herself has been on the Coliseum stage before, and this is her story of her very brave journey, and she had a traumatic experience with a brain tumor and went through a very serious operation, and it kind of obviously affected her life in a number of ways, but also created through that journey a sense of, I guess, hope and kind of reinvigoration through the people that she met and her experience with the NHS. And so the fact that it is true and it means so much to her means that it is powerful.
Is she going to appear on stage as well, playing herself?
Yeah, so she's going to play herself, and she'll have two more actors with her. And that relationship between Clara and Ian is just beautiful to watch. You can just see the kind of care and trust between them in bringing the story to life. And when they were chatting about it on stage last week, there was just silence in the audience. Everyone was just kind of gripped by the nature of it, and it really is one to watch. And again, it's going on the road, it's going over to Yorkshire, Sheffield, Scarborough. We're going up to Edinburgh for the summer with it as well.
Wow.
So come and see it at the Coliseum, and then just watch it fly, I think, because
I love a world premiere, and I love that we get them locally. I'm like, yes, we see it first, we get first dabs on this.
It's, when those scripts kind of come through into your inbox, and there's so many of them, and we have a team that read them, and then sometimes you just read one and you go, oh, this is special, and I think the Coliseum is just like honoured to do that. And like you said, it's a real sense of pride for Greater Manchester going, no, these stories are starting here. We're telling these stories first.
Absolutely, absolutely. I say it time and time again, but I'm going to say it and sound like a broken record. We are the best audiences.
It's true. It's fact.
Well, it has to be a fact. I said it in the Hive. It's a fact now.
That's
it. It's done, Chris. Done. I can't let you go without mentioning Cultivate. I think this is a brilliant thing that the Coliseum do, because if we can encourage anybody to get into the arts, into the theatre and upskill and give them opportunities, I think that is amazing. So that's going to be happening again this year, isn't it, Chris? Tell us about Cultivate.
Yeah, Cultivate is a week-long festival, and I think it's needed now more than ever. And the team are working on it at the moment, and it's made up a load of workshops, and you can learn about acting, directing, producing. Companies from Greater Manchester will kind of come and run workshops. It might be about movement, physical theatre, writing. It's just absolutely full of stuff to just get involved in. And you could just be starting out. You could be early on in your career. You could have been in the arts for a good few years, and there'll be something there for you. Most of the events are free. We try and, if they're not free, we keep it as kind of accessible as possible, low priced as possible, because it's not about that. It's about kind of getting involved, being in the building, learning some new things, meeting new people. There's open auditions as well. I'll be there with a couple of others directors. And certainly, again, kind of coming out of the pandemic and people are starting to make work again, we're just keen to kind of engage and re-engage with actors across Greater Manchester.
Gosh, so many exciting things coming up at the Oldham Coliseum. There were so many that we talked about that we just tried to condense it down to those. So if you are interested in finding out more about their spring-summer season at the Coliseum, then the extended version of my interview with Chris will be on our socials very soon. Do watch out for that one. They are on Twitter and Instagram at Live in the Hive 21. And of course, share the love with our friends at I Love Manchester, and go on their socials too for all the latest across our wonderful city, and get involved in the conversation. We've got hashtags, everybody. Hashtag I Love Manchester and hashtag Live in the Hive. We do go across socials all over the week, so we've got extended content to watch out for. But what are you watching out for next week, guys? Well, I have got a plethora of guests, not one, not two, but yes, we've got these. The Jersey Boys. They will be joining me in the Hive to talk about their award-winning hit musical. And we have got the suave, the sophisticated, and the uber talented Nigel Havers in the Hive. He is going to be telling me about his starring role in Private Lives, which is coming to the Lowry. Am I excited? Yes, I am super excited. So you know where to join me. Sunday, 8 o'clock, streaming on I Love Manchester's Facebook page. A big thank you to Niki Evans, a big thank you to Chris Lawson, and a great big thank you to you guys for watching. I'm going to leave you now with the cast of Bedknobs and Broomsticks playing us out with some music from their fantastic musical. Till next week, take care.
You must face the age of not believing, doubting everything you ever knew, until at last you start believing there's something wonderful, truly wonderful in you. Portobello Road, street where the riches of ages are stowed. Anything and everything a chap can unload is sold off the barrow in Portobello Road. Traguna, Macoides, Tricorum Sanctis Dei. Traguna, Macoides, Tricorum Sanctis Dei. Traguna, Macoides, Tricorum Sanctis Dei. And substitution locomotion will be ours. Tap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Bye.